Okay, now we'd like to have that next great question.
Hi. My question is about producers. The band's worked with a lot of producers over the years. I'm wondering if you could say who was the most enjoyable producer to work with, who was your least enjoyable, and specifically what was it like working with George Martin?
The most enjoyable producer we've worked with is ourselves, so yeah. That's not to say that the other producers weren't any good or anything, but you could take the second half of the question.
Or that doesn't say we're any good either, but, I think, I think everyone was interesting. But I think we had the most fights with Todd was all right, because we liked it. Todd Rundgren started at noon and we quit at 6. I mean, perfect. What a great way to make a record. Yeah, and it sounds like it. But we had fun with Jack Douglas. He was fun to do records with because he was a hero of ours, kind of. And we fought more with Tom Werman than we told him about this new band called the Sex Pistols, and he raved about the Who, but in actuality he made us sound more like 1910 Bubblegum Company or whatever they were. Okay, I'm kidding. He's not here. What the hell? I don't care what I say about him.
He did 3 of our records, and
we hated him so much we used him for 3 records. And let's see, who else do we have?
How about George Martin?
George Martin was great. He was the gentleman, and he was the finest. As far as knowing music, he was the most musically knowledgeable of all the people we worked with. Plus, he had cool Beatles stories.
Yeah, with George. George did some cool stuff when we were doing Stop This Game. Remember Tom said, how does Paul get that neat sound on Rain? And it was like, well, Jeff. And you turned to Jeff Emmerich, the engineer. Well, George, I believe he had some 4x12s and a Rickenbacker or something. Tom had some 4x12s and a Rickenbacker, which he whipped out on the spot. And boom, I mean, it was like that.
It took about 3 hours to get that out of Jeff because he had about 2 nervous breakdowns while we were making our record.
Yeah, Jeff was a nervous guy, and we used to...
We helped him with his nerves.
Topical subject, Montserrat's blowing up right now,
That's
and that's
right.
where we did that record.
And also, let's see, when we were down there, if you ever saw the Police doing, was it Roxanne? Don't Stand Next to Me or whatever it's called. That was done in Montserrat. That's the same place. So you see the board that Sting is jumping up and down on, that was the board that we used. And they sold more records, though, I think, didn't they? Oh, well.
Plus, there was a cricket.
But actually, that console is now at A&M Studios in Los Angeles in Studio B, I think, and we've used it since. We used it on Lap of Luxury record, and so...
There was a cricket down there. There was a cricket in Montserrat that's on about 100 million albums because it lived in the studio by the piano, and they couldn't get rid of it, and it's on everybody's record from down there. George told us about it.
I have a question with 2 parts.
So what?
A question with 2 parts. The first part of the question is, I know you guys play a lot of songs over and over again in every show. Are there any songs that you play that you really don't like to play? And are there any songs that you really like to play that you don't get to?
There's always stuff that we get tired of at one time or another, but we got enough songs in our catalog to choose from to replace them. But
and the songs are like children. You love them all. If they're your children, they're all great, and if they're not your children, so it's kind of hard not.
When they're bad, you got to spank them.
And I think there was a few illegitimate ones in there too.
Okay, here's my question. I know you have a 2-disc set that's like a greatest hits. I was wondering about a box set and about unreleased tracks, like from soundtracks and.
As you know, we're not on Epic Records, and they have the catalog. So a box set is up to them. They haven't asked us about one. What they have consulted with us on is the legendary Found Some More Parts, Volume 2, which you heard a couple songs from on the pre-show tape. Right now, it's kind of up in the air. There's still two songs that, if it's ever going to be released, there's two songs from 1975, 6-minute version of Taxman and a 6-minute version of Fan Club, which need to be remixed. And we haven't heard if it's coming out or not. And the guy that was kind of riding shotgun on it just got fired because Michael Jackson didn't sell enough records. So
that bastard wrecked our career.
right now, it's up in the air. Ideally, what we'd like to do down the line is purchase our catalog back from the company if we ever could. Do it ourselves. We'll see.
Also, I understand that there was a record that was not released that was rejected by Epic Records back in the 80s or early 80s.
That was Next Position Please with Todd. And they wanted us to do the song Dancing the Night Away, which we didn't want to do, and Todd wouldn't produce. And we handed them the record, and they said, no, you've got to do this song Dancing the Night Away because it's going to be a #1 song.
We kept saying, I can't take it, I can't take it.
He says, I can't take it, should be a da-da-da-da. So we went in and we...
Not quite good enough for that.
So he wouldn't produce it, and so that was the rejection we got. They wanted us to do what they wanted. And lo and behold, we were wrong. It was a hit.
Thanks.
And it's on our record, and it still sucks. And guess what? They didn't pay us any extra to shame ourselves, and we had to hide for a couple of years because of that. That's true. Oh, and then Robin did mention, I said about Michael Jackson, that guy, and he says, well, that's twice he's wrecked us. When we had the Magical Mystery Tour, it was supposed to be for an animation that of a Beatle animation that never really came out. It was all different groups doing Beatle songs, and ours was languishing and sitting around, and Epic wanted to do a greatest hits. He says, hey, we want to put this out, and that bastard sued us. Because he didn't have enough money. Or something like that. So twice that little bastard.
Well, then there's that Reeby fiasco.
Okay. Now you've had the pissed off side of Cheap Trick. Oh, okay. Now, got any other questions?
I just wanted to say that you guys are the greatest rock and roll band in the world.
And we're humble. Well, thanks. I've got some real estate in Florida for you, too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really, thank you, everybody, for coming here. As you know, I'm kind of sarcastic once in a while. But really, thanks a lot for coming, and let's play some more songs. How about that?